Hello, so today we're going to be doing the next step on the basket making. This part will be demonstrating on how to split the bear grass and how to prepare it and adding it onto your basket. So you have to be very careful on when you use the bear grass because on some of the grass there's a sharp edging on here. You can't see it, but it is razor sharp. And if you move your hand quickly enough, it's gonna cut you. It'll cut your finger, and I have some kind of evidence right here on my finger where I sliced my finger when I was using this. So let me see the knife. So with the bear grass, normally what I would do is I would just gently just shave off that edging, like a razor edge. You just simply just run the knife over. You can feel it come off. It'll just come off like a powdery substance. And you would do the whole leaf of taking that edge off, because then it'll be easier to work with. So here's part of that edging when you take it off. This is what you don't want to use on the bear grass, because as you're weaving, it has a tendency to cut you. So on some parts of the bear grass, like right here, there's this black part. Some people don't use it. I usually just break it off with my knife, just simply cutting it off like that, because when we start splitting it, you would like to have a nice flush edge. So as you start to split, you want to get as thin as possible, and you would just run your knife through as you go. Keep the thin pieces as even as possible. So sometimes if you by any chance create a thicker strand than necessary, you would have to go back and resplit it. So for instance, this one here is a lot thicker than these 3 strands I just previously cut. So I would put this piece down, go back in here, eyeball it, and resplit it. This can be split as thin as you want, depending on this type of basket you're planning to weave. A thicker basket with a thicker coil, you would use a thicker piece. If you wanted a thinner basket, you would use you would split the bear grass even thinner. So this one is kind of, it's still usable. It's kind of old because it has the faded green color. So it's not really you wouldn't really want to use it for an open stitch basket. You would probably want to use this as a closed stitch basket and to hide the color, because the more green it is, the more desirable it is to have an open stitch basket, because the green it'll pop out and it stands out more. Where this color, it kind of looks more of a brownish color. So as it sits in the stitching, between the stitchings of the basket, it'll have like a brownish color instead of a greenish color. But other than that, that's how you would split the bear grass. It's good to do a bundle like this pre-hand. So just spend like a whole day preparing your material and splitting all your bear grass, all the maha, just split it and just rebundle it into like into however thick or thin your bundle's gonna be that you're gonna be using, so you don't have to be splitting it as you're weaving. So it's best to just have everything prepared, so when you're weaving, you can just keep weaving and not having to stop and splitting the bear grass as you're weaving each stitch, because it can sometimes get a little annoying that you have to like pause, split some, put it down, weave a couple stitches, notice that you ran out, get another piece and keep going. That's kind of something that is a bad habit to kind of pick up, but I know that some weavers prefer to do it that way. Me personally, I would split an entire bundle, maybe 2 or 3, depending on what I'm going to be weaving, and just so whenever I want to weave, you just have the bear grass ready to go. So that's how we usually prepare the bear grass. And when we're going to do a couple more stitches on the basket, then I'll start to show how you would add the bear grass to the basket, so that there'll be the next step into into weaving the basket. So here it's all white. I'm just covering up the tail. When I get another inch or about an inch and a half, maybe an inch, I'll show you how you would start adding the bear grass into it. So that'll be it for right now until I get to that. Now we're gonna start demonstrating on how to start adding the bear grass to the basket after we split it. So we got to this point where it's starting to thin out the tail. And because you want your tail to be at a constant thickness and you want to keep it even, each coil you want it to be even. So right here you can tell it kind of dipped down, meaning that the tail is already thinning out. So I just added this one in just as a lock, like a lock stitch to keep the bear grass in. So what I usually start off with is I use the thinnest pieces first. So I use about 4 pieces and I put them right underneath the tail of the yucca or taqui. I just kind of just lay it there. I hold it down, and then I would pull this stitch to kind of lock it in. Then as I go with my next stitch, I would get ready to add another piece. So now that I have that in there locked, I would grab another set of 4 or another set of 4. And add it right underneath. Sometimes they will fall out, but it's okay. You just gotta be sure to hold it pretty tight when you're adding the bear grass. Because once you get the bear grass in and locked in, then it'll eventually stay. So as also you can tell that my piece of taqui is getting kind of short. I'm gonna be adding another piece here pretty soon. Maybe right after this stitch. And if it does have if it does all come out like this is gonna do right now, it's okay. It's okay to go ahead and keep wrapping it. I had a piece that was clean. Okay, so now that you have your yucca in, your bear grass in, it's already in. So this is gonna be the final piece for this part of the segment when you add your bear grass. So from here on out, you're gonna be adding bear grass It depends on the weaver. I've seen some people split in the middle and add, or some people lay it right on top and add. But me, I prefer to put it at the bottom because I feel that as you put it at the bottom, everything kind of just lays on it and it smashes it down to kind of hold it down as you're weaving. Whereas if you put it in the middle, it kind of bunches up too much and it'll leave like a bump. So it is up to you on how you want, whatever you feel comfortable with, that's how you would weave. But from here on out, this is what you're gonna be using the most.